Okay, well, in that case, then, I might as well just turn to Mr. Chikodi on this particular one. Mr. Chikodi, for those who feel that yes, it's a very unfortunate narrative that the judiciary is pliable to corruption and that they've talked about judicial reforms for ages and we still are at this point, isn't that something that the judiciary should really worry about for the fact that such cases are even mentioned in the first instance?
Well, there is corruption. There seems to be corruption everywhere, not just only in the judiciary. And I know full well that the judiciary should be the last hope of the common man. The judiciary should be the last place where anyone should see corruption. Corruption has been talked about over the years in the judiciary, and I think so much has not been done, in my opinion. So much has not been done, in the sense that even starting from the budget of the judiciary, you go to different states, you see most courts are dilapidated, you see most state judges do not have electricity to even go on to sit. You see a lot of things happening. They don't even have stationery to do their work. So when you go to file for filing, you see court officials asking for money and all that and all those things. So if things are not put in place by government, if enough budgetary allocation is not made for the judiciary, and if these monies are not appropriated to the places where they should be appropriated, I mean... Okay,
let me equally ask you.
How are we going to fight corruption?
Initially, you spoke about you expected stringent measures from the NBA concerning the AGF. But, you know, it turns out that on the first day of the NBA's directive, or the first of 2 days, that lawyers boycott the courts, it wasn't as effective as some expected. Is that were you surprised by that? Or doesn't that say that, look, the NBA may not have as much hold as they thought?
I wasn't surprised at all, Mr. Chamberlain. I wasn't surprised because, in my opinion, like I earlier said, that directive by the NBA has no practical relevance, in my opinion. I mean, even going to the streets, protesting in the streets has more effect. You don't tell lawyers not to go to court to defend their clients. Some are criminal cases, some are facing death sentences, some are in prison. You don't tell lawyers not to go to court. I mean, how does not going to court for these 2 days help the issue at hand? The issue is not boycotting the courts. The issue is not staying away from the court. The issue is with the system. The issue is with this government. This government that has continued to disobey orders. Chamberlain, there is a legal principle that when a party is in disobedience of a court order, when a party is in disobedience, he cannot be heard to urge any court or even that court any further prayers. This government has been in perpetual disobedience of several court orders, and yet they still go to court, urge courts further orders, and these orders are granted to them. In fact, they should first comply with the orders which they are in disobedience of, purge themselves of the contempt before they could be heard. So I don't think the problem is with boycotting court. I think the problem is with disciplining the AGF. In my opinion, the AGF...
Mr. Chikodi, just a minute. When you say perpetual disobedience, what do you mean? What cases are you referring to?
Of course, we are all aware the Ezazaki case, orders were made. Even in the Dasuki case, orders were made. And several other orders that have been made in this land that this government has refused to obey. Even in the trial of the Nnamdi Kanu case. There are several orders like that which the federal government has perpetually refused to obey. Even the ECOWAS court has given orders too in some of these cases, and the government has refused to obey. Yet this same government that do not obey orders will still go back to court swimming in their disobedience. They will still go back to court, urging the court for more reliefs and prayers, with which they will now rush. So they are now selective of the orders which they will obey. When the orders suit them, they will speedily obey them. But when it does not suit them, or when it does not suit their agenda, they will disobey it in perpetuity. I think that is wrong, and it does not all go well for democracy.
Mr. Okoji, there is something that I find a bit interesting. Yesterday, the NBA said it was day one of the boycott of courts. But before then, we've had a situation where several lawyers are sharply divided on this case. Many of them are on one side, many are on the other side. What does that portend for the judiciary? It seems like not all lawyers are on the same page as far as this issue is concerned. Some say the federal government is in order, some say the federal government is not in order. What's your take on that?
You see, lawyers are just a part of the stakeholders in this issue. There are other stakeholders. The body of ventures is there, the judiciary is there, lawyers, civil society. Lawyers is just one aspect of those who are stakeholders in this issue. Now, of course, we are different and our opinion differs. So some feel like I feel myself, because I think the directive to boycott orders have no practical relevance, because now some courts were boycotted yesterday. That directive continues today, and till now I have not seen any way in what way that directive has helped the particular issue at hand. So I think lawyers, I wasn't surprised at all that lawyers were divided on that issue.
Really, I'm actually talking about the issues before that order of the NBA. Many lawyers are sharply divided on this case, and every one of them is quoting the same law and interpreting it based on their biases. What does that say about the judiciary? Isn't there something that we need to correct?
The law is very clear. The Constitution is very clear. And all the persons who are engaging in arguments know full well what the law provides. I mean, there are some people who, even though they know the law, they will still turn it on its head. We know some persons who are jurists, who are erudite jurists, but they know this law. They will still turn it on its head just for personal interest.
Let me ask Mr. Tanko.
It's not ambiguous.
I hope you can hear me now. What do you see playing out? Because much as the NBA and perhaps, who knows, ultimately the NJC may be seeking for reinstatement of Justice Onnoghen, do you see that happening, Mr. Tanko?
Okay, probably no. At the moment now, I'm glad that the NJC have taken a position and they have met, and then the petitions are being heard. And then the petitioners and then the person petitioned have been provided with the copies to respond in 7 days. These are the procedures that ought to have been taken ab initio. And it will have saved us all of these particular problems that we've already found ourselves. The procedures is that any petition against any sitting judge or any officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in terms of the judicial system must be taken to the judicial NJC for them to deliberate upon, and then especially in the CJN case, given ample time to respond, and then they will take a decision on it. And this is the procedure that is being taken now. So we will wait for the next 7 days to hear, precisely on the 14th, if I'm not mistaken, to hear the response of those who are being petitioned. That way, the procedures will have been followed. And that is not to give any credence or defend any individual. But what we are saying is that for the benefit of democracy that we all are interested in, the procedures must be followed. And once the procedures is being followed, everybody is good to go. And the petition has already been laid out already. And so the NJC should take its rightful position and make pronouncement. And I am glad that they're taking both the acting CGN, Chief Justice of the Federation, including Justice Onnoghen, on this matter. So both of them are being petitioned. And now they will look at the merits and the merit of the petition and take a decision on it. And,
all right, gentlemen, we need to anchor at this point. Chikodi Okoji, a legal practitioner, and Dr. Oyunisa Tanko, the presidential candidate of the NCP. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on this morning. So we'll be back in a moment and find out, what did the youth think about this in a moment? Join us again.